Okay, what's the attack here? So the attack, are they running Bedosin on the Tracer? I love this. I love this. And whenever you are kind of like playing this tank core, whenever you are playing this sort of tank core thing, the characters that you're selecting to play on the flanks and whatnot are going to be the ones that are most optimal for the map. Now, Tracer can be a little bit more of an interesting one, but you can kind of like piece this apart. So we can think of the core. The core is obviously going to have the Mercy, right? So the core, the number one thing that the core is always going to have is the Mercy. Why not lurkers allowed? Yeah, congratulations, you're no longer a lurker. You can go back to not talking in chat. You only got to type once. You can just give me a hey guys, and then never talk again. As long as you just say hi in chat once, I'm a happy man. So tank core is going to be closer plus who? Jester, definitely. Now, what is Fury going to be doing? Is Fury going to be roaming or assisting with the tank core? That's the first question. When I look at everyone else, I think that Fury is probably... Oh, this is a tough one, actually, because we have no Diva. We have no Diva, which means that Closer is going to be under a lot of pressure here. Doesn't really have anyone that can peel for him. So Fury, knowing that, is maybe going to be staying with Gesture. Prophet gets a lot of benefit from damage boost. So Prophet is probably going to stay near the tank core as well, which means it's going to be Birdring and Bedosin on the flank. But where are they actually going to position themselves? With the defenders on the high ground, which is a pretty common strat here. Now, the more common strat is to have a Junkrat instead of a Hanzo in terms of Silk Thread. And then normally you have a Diva instead of a Roadhog with Shaz. So we're actually seeing, for the first time in quite a long time, a variant on the high ground Orisa defense. But they are playing Diva. What? Yeah. Ooh. So they... No. I fucked this up. I mulligan, chat. Mulligan. I take that back. Chat. Ignore what I just said. Chat. Okay. Now we'll talk about the Los Angeles Gladiators comp. So instead of a Zenyatta, they're actually running the Roadhog. And then instead of a Junkrat, they're running the Hanzo. So... what this is telling me is that they're not so worried about point control as they are worried about kind of like a map control here. So they can still contest the point with Void. You know, Void can drop off the high ground, contest. He can't, you know, normally you would do this with like a double pocket where you'd give the Diva orb, you'd pocket the Diva, she'd go on to point to contest, and then after she's taking too much damage, she boosts back up, and while she's getting kind of stable, then you have your Orisa drop to the point and fortify to contest. So that's kind of how you do this pattern. But, there's so many different possibilities with how London Spitfire is going to try and control the map and where they're even going to path. I would suspect, because they have this renewable shield, I would suspect that the London Spitfire is probably going to go through Hotel and stand on the point there, which would give a better potential sightline for Birdring. And then where Bedosin would go, I'm not sure. But honestly, let's just, instead of me trying to just take a stab in the dark, let's play this out, see where the London Spitfire path, and then just discuss what their plans actually were.
Act early. Yeah, so they want to play solo support here. Closer will play Mercy, and you'll have Bedosin.
So I would expect them to transition through point, because that would open up more potential angles for Birdring that are not shared with the tank core. And Shaz is playing with the Orisa shield, at least off the start. Maybe they're just going to scout. And this is the other thing that you can do, is you can play in a formation like this with like all 6 of you together until you have scouted what the attackers have, and then kind of have a different set positions, formations, rotations based on what the attackers are running. So I think both teams are kind of just trying to scout here, get information before they really decide what they do.
Tracer, so they're gonna have.
So what did I just see?
Smacked early. Yeah, so they want to play solo support here. Closer will play Mercy, and you'll have Bedosin play.
So Birdring is grappling to the right. So if Birdring is grappling to the right, I definitely expect Gesture to go through Hotel.
Play Tracer, so they're gonna have double.
Bedosin's going alley.
Sniper, Roadhog, Orisa.
He's not. Are they going to try and like halt hook somebody off the high ground? But Void still has defense matrix.
We're trying to get these picks. This is a comp that's
Stormbow
really
is triggered
pick-oriented,
from
right?
Silk Thread,
Tracer can get
or
in the
was that
back, try and
Prophet?
get a pick on whether the supports
Surefour
were
finds
sure.
Bidoosin.
That lands a headshot onto Bidoosin. You have the halt hook combination,
Why?
so Gesture can kind of hold people with the halt. The hook can come in from Fury. You see there's the halt.
So they are trying to halt hook people off the high ground.
There, no hook comes through, and then the double snipers. We'll see how they break this setup though, because
Waiting for a halt hook combo here. Void's gonna eat it though. There's no way Void allows that halt to get anywhere near them.
Gladiators can just sit up here on the high ground. No reason for them to go down.
And Fury's just waiting for, I would say, a halt
Gesture's next shield will be coupled with a halt.
to pull someone over the lip of the edge.
Oh no, because Fury decides to take the fight to Shaz inside the Mega Room.
Instead of waiting for that one, though, he decides to maybe, try and duel a little bit out with Shaz.
Like, London Spitfire's plan just doesn't make sense here.
He definitely comes off second best. There's a lot of shrapnel up in them there.
So now we're trying to force the point. But the problem with forcing the point in this sort of composition is that you're running the Orisa shield and then your Hog. So your Hog is either going to feed ult charge, and Gesture can only really protect from one location unless he mashes himself right up against the wall. But if he kind of like puts himself into this little shell cave thing right on the point, it means that the rest of his team is completely unprotected against damage boosted double snipers. So I don't like this plan either.
There. Get a bit of extra damage on that shield, which will be able to be replaced by Remix. He definitely has the cooldown.
Fury's just feeding ult charge like mad.
He's just waiting for the right time to use it.
So there's
The
a
Gladiators
halt.
are really hard to shift. They've got themselves a nice little perch here. Got like a treehouse setup. It's normally a term we apply to the Temple of Anubis defensive setups, but
So here, right, Void's dropping because Void is going to be the one to contest.
here it's still relevant. All right, Void drops down
He didn't really contest for long. He basically just did a token effort in there.
to contest
goes back up to the
partially,
top.
but he realizes he needs the rest of his
So they're going to have to rotate, and Remix is going to have to drop second, but they're going to still give up a tick here because Void was kind of half-hearted with his contest attempt.
team with them. So they're actually going to give
So
up
there's
a
the first
tick
tick.
here, the Gladiators.
Remix is going to have to drop. What a strange and gross engagement.
Try and set up.
They're gonna have to drop down here. As Shaz tries to go on a flank there as Roadhog.
They trade 1-for-1 with Shaz and Gesture.
He was down by the health pack inside and then just kind of came around the outside. I think they were expecting a lot of pressure to be going on to iRemix and Void on the other side of the point. Maybe he could flank with ease. But
Fucking
they
rip.
do get a res off onto Shaz, so you bring that Roadhog with a lot of HP back up into the fight.
I'll give up.
Now, Bidoosin managed to find Surefour. He spent a lot of time lurking around the edges here. Eventually, or slowly, the Spitfire is starting to orbit closer and closer to this point now. They'll set up. That's Gesture there as well, who's going to be a little bit hard to shift.
I'm just gonna enjoy. Who the fuck knows what's going on?
Situation. Now, Birdring has a decent perch, but they push them back still. The whole hog definitely punctuating the point. The Spitfire not welcome on this point.
Oh, they get a halt hook on iRemix there. They're going to get him very low. That'll be a Dragon Strike. So you split off iRemix and Void. They're denied a lot of healing from Bingo.
They're denying the res too. You can't get to iRemix's corpse to bring that Orisa back now, even if you wanted to. That spot is deep within enemy territory. Shaz is flanking on this Roadhog here. I guess that's what he's doing. It's a little bit hard to figure it out. He was trying to work around the hotel and get behind that Orisa shield of Gesture, but they couldn't break through. And that will be that first point taken by London.
That was utter chaos. And without knowledge of what was actually being attempted by either team or why the Gladiators did have such a weird and strange variant on this composition, it's going to be next to impossible for me to give you anything useful. So I'm just going to call a mulligan on that attack. But if you're sitting there and you're like an amateur coach or analyst, I think giving a crack at dissecting that initial attack would be a great challenge. So if coaching or analysis is something that interests you, take a crack at that first attack. And if you do decide to undertake that challenge, good luck.
On what ostensibly
What the fuck is a mulligan? Mulligan is like a redo. It's a golf term.
is their home turf. They've got 3 minutes and 50 of the clock.
Usually here on King's Row, you see a lot of Reinhardt. You're going to see the Orisa Roadhog here from London.
Okay.
Gesture feels
What
much
swaps
better
are here?
playing
London's going to stay on the Orisa Hog?
Orisa than he would playing Reinhardt as here are the kills that come down from Fury. So this is right after the Dragon Strike where Remix is kind of pushed into that position. Same with Void. So Big Goose gets pushed all the way around the outside of the hotel. Can't even get close to.
Okay, Gladiators swapping to the Rhine Diva. Shaz is back onto the the Zenyatta instead of the Roadhog. Surefour's onto the Tracer instead of the Widowmaker. Well, we are certainly not lacking for interesting compositions. And then London Spitfire. London Spitfire playing... This has to be a transitional comp. There's no way There's no way. So, Brigida with Orisa Hog is so useless. So utterly useless. It basically relies on especially on attack. Like, Brigida wants to get value, and she can't really do that unless the opponent is coming very hard onto them, or if they are going very aggressive onto the opponent here. So I suspect they're staying with this combo because of the Supercharger and because of the Whole Hog. That can be a pretty potent combo, especially against like the Rhine, for example. If Void's defense matrix goes down just a little bit, you know, they can Whole Hog to completely decimate Remix's shield, and then Gesture is going to keep having those shields get better and better and better here. The Prophet swap could have been entirely based off of Surefour's swap. So did Prophet swap second?
Position, same with Void. So Big Goose
Surefour's on Tracer.
gets pushed
So the Prophet swap is reactive. I take that back.
all the way around the outside of the hotel. Can't
Is Surefour going to go back and swap now that Prophet went on to Brigida, or is he going to stay? Because if Surefour just swapped, and he sees that Prophet just swapped, Surefour might go back and counter swap.
even get close to his tanks.
Might.
Switch here.
Birdering's going Hanzo.
Birdring. Over towards the Hanzo. Presumably because Dragon Strike up.
I would like to see Supercharger and Whole Hog be used really early. Surefour is not counter swapping.
He's just so crucial in this
He
part
will after this fight, but he's not counter swapping immediately.
of the map, and Prophet wants to make sure
There's the Supercharger very early. Whole Hog isn't out yet, and Prophet is dangerously far forward and without a pocket.
Shawfall can't safely flank. It's been
No,
quite
they don't have anything to punish him, though.
some time since we've seen Shawfall really on this Tracer map.
Supercharger's Stormbow is a one-shot onto a Tracer.
Asher was normally the individual that was called upon to fill that role
Supercharger is down.
previously. Obviously not.
Remix just gets chain stunned and deleted.
Not in this
But Gesture overextends and doesn't get that shield down before Silk Thread pumps a Stormbow into him, so both main tanks have dropped.
active roster. The Silk Thread's
Whole
Hunter
Hog
now
comes
really
out.
Find the mark. Birdring just trying to pressure down. Always found the
Gesture
Tracer.
isn't swapping off
Now, on this
Orisa.
particular patch, you can't one-shot headshot a
Surefour's
Tracer with
has to
Storm
swap
Arrow,
here.
Even if you're being damage boosted, that reduce the damage down to 70, so you do 141.
Surefour swaps. Onto Tracer, onto Brigida, onto Pharah. And you'll see this a lot more on 2CP maps, which we actually didn't see any of. But there's such a swap meta right now between basically two people sit and spawn, hold tab, and then counter swap. But yeah, so Tracer, Brigida, Pharah, and then Prophet will swap off Brigida now.
1 point something.
Not like next fight. Not right away. He doesn't have any way to go back to spawn. But can you explain the thinking with Pharah? It counters Hanzo and Brigida. It's the best way to explain it. Not so much Hanzo, because Hanzo, like good Hanzos especially, can still shoot. But it's not as effective at dealing with Pharah like a McCree or a Widowmaker or something like that.
Damage with a headshot
Do you not like counter swapping? I love counter swapping.
to a Tracer, so there is counterplay available here. But Shawfall is going to try and go for the aerial.
I'm surprised they're staying Orisa Roadhog here.
Counterplay.
Yeah, they may try and challenge this again here, the Gladiators. Looks like they're going to come out and try and fight it.
Big Goose is probably going to have to use his ultimate here really quickly.
They have to be careful, though. Fury
There it is.
is sitting on that right-hand side, just trying to land one of these hooks. It'll be Silk Thread
Dragon to... it's not a splitting dragon. It's a dragon to initiate.
using his Dragon Strike. Trying to put some players off of the cart there, but doing a nice job forcing Gesture back. They get him low.
He doesn't have a shield up right now. He needs a couple of seconds, but he might not be given that much time. Birdring at least can just play an off angle here and pressure the Gladiators. This will prevent them from actually being able to push out as far as they otherwise would like, which in turn will allow London to regroup properly.
Like, one of the... Orisa Roadhog is just so bad. It really is. I don't know why people play it. Like, especially with Gladiators here on double spam, plus a Zenyatta, plus Diva. The amount of shield break that they have in this composition is extremely high. And as like within 10 meters, 10 meters being Diva's fall off, Diva is also really good at contributing to shield break on top of that. So not only does the Ryan Diva composition have the opportunity to just walk through Jester's shield and then him be useless until he gets another one up, they also just have way more shield break than an Orisa shield can handle at all. And because Fury's on the Roadhog and not on the Diva, they have no defense matrix to protect people after that shield is gone. This map isn't three-dimensional enough to actually get value out of having a tank core and having people on the flanks. So this composition just does not make sense to me. The only time Roadhog Orisa gets value is if you're landing halt hook combos. But Void is going to be eating those halts, so they can't even trigger into a hook combo. And even if they do get hooked, that target is still going to get defense matrix by Void and kept alive. The only time Orisa Roadhog is getting value is if you're playing a roamer style with a Roadhog to control flanks and exert map control, or if you're landing halt hook combos. But they're not doing either here, which makes him utterly useless compared to other picks.
Here, despite the fact that they're being constantly harried by Surefour, who's already halfway to his first barrage in his Pharah.
So here, this is interesting. Prophet will play Widowmaker.
So see, here we have the counter swaps. This has been the counter swap. Fight to fight to fight to fight to fight. It was Surefour onto Tracer, Prophet onto Brigitte, which counters Tracer, Surefour onto Pharah, which counters Brigitte, Prophet onto Widowmaker, which counters Surefour. And after this, Surefour will be swapping. This is the greatest example of counterpicking I think I've seen in a pro match in a very long time. But it's counter swapping, especially the way things are going, is going to become a lot more common. And I haven't watched any of the 2CP maps. But you'll see a lot of this counter swapping happen in a much shorter duration of time on 2CP, where two people will just sit in spawn and counter pick until they basically come to they go through, you play this, I'll play that, I'll play this, I'll play that, and they'll just like sit holding tab, just counter picking each other.
Cannot recall seeing him play Widowmaker in Overwatch League because it was either Birdring or Hureg. And Hureg was on the roster. That
you know why, right?
Hero, but
they need the Dragon Strike. It's not worth Birdring switching off the Hanzo here.
You need Prophet to be able to land the shot here on a Surefour.
Well, let's just...
There's no way Surefour is even going to give Prophet that shot. There's so many different rooftops that Surefour can fly over. A lot of the buildings on King's Row are actually lower than the skybox. You can traverse them as Pharah. There's no way that Surefour is going to give Prophet a good shot on him.
See how flexible and interchangeable this DPS duo
There's
really
Birdring.
is, right?
Well, he will give Birdring the shot, though, and Stormbow's great when you have no reduction in movement speed and the ability to spam at a Pharah.
Oh, he's got it!
Do they have the ability to... So Big Goose is going to pistol to try and make him back off, and then Void is going to take the space so Big Goose can res. Birdring is going to be probably... The healers are going to get to
Now
him.
with the projectile speed being so much faster for Hanzo, we can more consistently connect with Pharah. That Dragon
Interesting choice there to try and deny the res. It was a little bit late.
Strike might be a little bit tough to escape from there. Silk Thread going down to Fury elsewhere, and now a Transcendence being pulled out.
Hammer hits...
There's an opportunity.
Nothing?
Pharah, that Dragon Strike might be a little bit tough to escape from there.
Is counterpicking a thing for supports? Much less so.
Silk Thread going down to Fury elsewhere, and now a Transcendence being pulled out. There's an
Did that not hit Birdring?
Pharah, that Dragon Strike might be a little bit tough to escape from there. Silk Thread going down to Fury elsewhere, and now a Transcendence being pulled.
Oh, it did not. Birdring's just out of line of sight of that. So, on the upside, this actually wasn't the worst thing ever. Trading an Earth Shatter for a Transcendence is nice. And this time, Bamboozle did react in time. Gesture fortified so he didn't get slammed, and Bosun trance so he didn't get slammed. So Remix still gets value out of the Shatter. Did it knock anyone? No. Did it get value? Yes. Orisa used both Bamboozle and Gesture used their cooldowns reactively in order to keep themselves up.
There's an opportunity to resurrect. Seems unclear at this point if the Gladiators can bring the Hanzo back. Silk Thread is close.
So there they used halt again, but the halts aren't getting value. They're not comboing with them. You could have comboed halt with Dragon.
To his Dragon Strike, but we'll need to get into the fight and do some damage to accrue that extra 5%. And Surefour can only just poke around the side. You know.
There's no way they don't know he's here. Are they even going to be able to contest? They are going to be able to contest. Remix is just kind of getting his shield health up as high as possible. Probably. And Void does have bomb here. I think Glads hold them here, don't they? I'm pretty sure the Glads hold them here. Well... There's not enough defense matrix to go around. I don't think there's enough defense matrix to go around. Either Surefour is going to get punished or iRemix is going to get punished. And with Supercharge going down after that and Shaz not having Transcendence, I think London Spitfire actually does clutch this, especially if Surefour gets scouted. Hello, play.
He be sneaking. He's looking for a barrage from behind.
Yeah, they weren't able to get the res there on the Silk Thread because they used the res on
That's going to get rezzed, though.
Ocean there with the Rocket Barrage. Birdring, though, with 2 big kills. The one on the Surefour, now one on the Void.
And Birdring got a supercharged Storm Bow. Or was it a Storm Bow? It was just a supercharge. Sorry, just a normal shot onto Void after Void bombed. So that was huge from Birdring, too. Void gets rezzed back up, and iRemix gets the Charger.
It gets that second tank out of the equation.
Spitfire have to break through here, but Fury's taken down. The consistent Hanzo damage from Silk Thread, and now the Dragon Strike again forces Jester out of position. Birdring now is just trying to get some space. He knows that the rest of the Spitfire are being pushed back by Void on the high ground, and that means their supports really have to trail a little bit more. This Orisa pick here, from Jester, is it getting them much value? It seems like they're not very flexible with the fact that they kind of have to play around the...
Strange. Let's watch that again.
So we can more consistently connect with Farah. That Dragon Strike might be a little bit tough to escape from there. Silk Thread going down to Fury elsewhere, and now a Transcendence being pulled out. There's an opportunity to resurrect. Seems unclear at this point if the Gladiators can bring the Hanzo back. Silk Thread is close to his Dragon Strike, but will need to get into the fight and do some damage to accrue that extra 5%. And Surefour can only just poke around the side. You know, he be sneaking. He's looking for a barrage from behind.
Yeah, they weren't able to get the res there on the Silk Thread because they used the res on the Surefour. He gets Ocean there with the Rocket Barrage. Birdring, though, with 2 big kills. The one on the Surefour, now one on the Void. He gets that second tank out of the equation.
Spitfire have to break through here, but Fury's taken down. The consistent Hanzo damage from Silk Thread, and now the Dragon Strike again forces Jester out of position. Birdring now is just trying to get some space.
Fury apparently prescribed to the Jayne school of thought when it comes to Roadhog, which is flank and feed.
He knows that the rest of the Spitfire are being pushed back by Void on the high ground, and that means their support...
I don't understand the Roadhog Orisa. Why are they still running it?
We have to trail a little bit more. This Orisa pick here, from Jester, is it getting them much value? It seems...
And you have to be getting so much value out of this compared to Rein Zarya? It's just, why?
Seems like they're not very flexible with the fact that they kind of have to play around the shield that's been placed down, and they can't...
And then, right? Surefour counterpicks for the 5th swap onto Widowmaker, right? Tab, 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 and then you finally arrive at a state where there's no more counterpicking. So that was a very interesting... The story of this second fight could be interesting. I just wish I could just ask the Spitfire, be like, why did you run Orisa Roadhog?
Move the
Things
shield
like
and
this keep me up at
put a
night.
new one down.
So now you have Fury will
Oh,
play
now we're on to
Zarya.
Zarya.
Gesture switches. Zarya, yeah, I was going to say, Zarya and Orisa don't have a lot of great synergy.
This maybe could have happened a little bit earlier, perhaps, Matt.
Yeah, I think it just tells you where London feels their Zarya-Reinhardt combinations at right now.
Could have happened a little...
Yeah, let's see if Gesture switches. Zarya, yeah, I was going to say, Zarya and Orisa don't have a lot of great synergy.
This maybe could have happened a little bit earlier, perhaps, Matt.
Gesture switches. Zarya, yeah, I was going to say, Zarya
One more
and Orisa
time.
don't
Give it to
have
me
a
one
lot
more
of great
time.
Synergy.
This maybe could have happened a little bit earlier, perhaps, Matt.
Yeah, I think it just tells you where London feels their Zarya-Reinhardt combinations at right now.
Again, Remix has definitely been dominant in the Reinhardt duel so far this series. And how are you going to accrue a Graviton Surge within 5 seconds? It'll have to happen somewhere during overtime if they hope to make use of that combo.
There's Dragon.
No real ultimates for the Spitfire to be speaking of right
Grab.
now.
Trans is out, though.
That's what they need. They can start getting aggressive now.
Gesture's
Punish
low.
the Spitfire. The Transcendence expires, but Silk Thread and Surefour have found their marks. Their double snipers chime in at just the right time. Closer falls to the Fire Strike of Remix. And Gesture is more thunderstruck than anything else. 2 kills for the Reinhardt. And the Gladiators look indomitable.
Okay, chat. Chat, I want you to take 10 seconds. I want you to think about it, and then I want you to give me your best idea as to why this London Spitfire kept running Orisa Roadhog. Think about it, and then give me. Let's see what chat thinks about the Orisa Roadhog. To feed, they suck. They're bad. Jester's bad at Reinhardt. Jester's bad at Reinhardt. They were throwing. Jester hates Rein. Jester's bad at Reinhardt. It was a counter pick for the lulz. They weren't coached enough. They are dumb. Jester doesn't like Reinhardt. They want to win the shield war. Jester doesn't like Reinhardt to throw the game. Destroying shield. Didn't trust his healers. Low confidence. Unflexible. Memes. Buffoons. A lot of crack cocaine. Jester doesn't like Reinhardt. They traded Fisher. 'Cause I'm gay. Jester feels insecure at Reinhardt. Oh god, chat is going so fast I can't keep up. Okay, so it seems like you guys just think it's because Jester fucking hates Reinhardt. Okay, chat. Oh.
It's like the Gladiators, they'll be running triple support.
I wonder what
Triple
attack
Okay, we do
see a
strategy
lot of,
the
teams
Los
do this.
Angeles Gladiators are going to
London
run.
Go straight to the point.
London couldn't deal with this, right? We saw this on Lijiang Tower, and London tried to play the Junkrat against it. It just didn't work. There was so much, you know, AoE healing available to the Gladiators. They just soaked it up and kept pressing on.
Yeah, I mean, you did have a McCree
Do I even need to
line
explain
for
what
the
happened
Gladiators
here?
during that,
This was
so
dissected
the
on Reddit.
three supports.
This was so sick. I'm just going to be quiet, and we are going to revel in the glory that was this strategy. Just chat, if you haven't seen this,
this will be the setup. It'll be the Orisa,
you are
Roadhog,
in
Diva
for the
combination
smartest
with,
play
Birdring playing
of
Widowmaker.
Overwatch League
Profit
so
now
far.
on Junkrat. He's just going to charge this Zarya up, especially if they go towards the point. You're going to be able to keep everybody up as well.
Oh, look, Silk Thread on the Zarya here. I feel like more recently, we're not asking what Silk Thread can do anymore, or kind of asking what he can't. So many different heroes that he can sort of bring out. Hanzo was very effective. Okay, I like this from the Gladiators. This is cute. They're going to try and circle around. The Spitfire want to interrupt this a little bit here. Where are you going? Where are you? Oh, the high ground.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so nasty. Shulfor's chilling in spawn. So he's waiting here. He can sort of walk out. What did he try to do with
I think he's going to either switch to Widowmaker. Yep. He's going to be the play. He's going to switch to Widow.
I'm going to call this the merry-go-round because it makes me laugh. Makes me happy.
I'm going to call this the merry-go-round.
Just the right time. Closer drops down, and it's a day at the shooting range for Lane Roberts. The Canadian superstar unloads on the Spitfire, and they get completely smashed. Sometimes, Matt, the best laid plans fail, but not this one. Big flank from the Gladiators, and they let loose the Widow at just the right time.
There's a
Doesn't
lot
that
of things he
just
could've done
taste
from
like
that position.
Christmas?
If London would have stayed up on the high ground, maybe he comes out on like a hit scan hero, or somebody like a McCree, or even like a Tracer try and flank.
Well, Shawfor switches to Brigitte, or he starts on Brigitte because...
God damn, that was good. God damn, that was good. Okay, let's watch that again. Let's watch that again. And it was so crazy listening to the reactions after this, too. So what happens is that we're seeing basically the standard, more or less standard defense, except instead of the Zenyatta, we're having the Roadhog, which seems to be a much more common swap, at least so far in this series. Now, Los Angeles Gladiators are playing Goats, which is a 3-3 composition. They're playing 3 tanks and 3 supports. And Surefour Heroes on Brigitte, which is a very key component of the Goats composition. But the thing is that Surefour never left spawn. And right, information control, the fog of war, scouting is all very important. So if you saw 5 people run through a hotel, you hit tab and you say that, oh, Surefour was on Brigitte. Did you actually see the Brigitte with that composition? You would probably assume so. But Surefour's sitting here in spawn, outside of the range of any Sonics or anything that could scout him, and he's just sitting there. And it's funny because Architect, the guy who does the spectating for the Overwatch League, tweeted out that he was actually they got in contact with the team and the game admins to make sure that Surefour's PC was working. Because Surefour, you can see here in this kind of like clip in the bottom right here, I need to remove myself. So if you look at Surefour, he's actually like full hands off the keyboard. Surefour's just kind of like chilling, and he's looking over at his teammate's screen. So they almost like paused the game because they thought Surefour's PC wasn't working. And Surefour's just keeping track of iRemix's computer so he knows where they are, you know, scratching his nose, fixing his mic, just kind of chilling, just kind of waiting for the opportunity. And they are pretending like Surefour is with them. Because one of the big weaknesses of goats is that it exerts kind of no presence except for the area where it is directly located. So if you take the area around it, set up a bunch of different angles, if you can contest long enough to prevent them from getting progress during their lost fights, you can just decimate them. So they come in, and then this forces a rotation from the London Spitfire, which this angle, this huge, long path, had to occur in order for the Los Angeles Gladiators to force the London Spitfire's backline to rotate into the line of sight of Surefour from the spawn. And then Surefour's under a shit ton of pressure because he only gets one shot before the gig is up. And he makes it count because, unfortunately, Birdring puts him in a position for the nice shot. And then Closer doesn't know where he is, doesn't react, and boom, Bob's your uncle. But what a great, great strat. What if Surefour misses? Well, it's there's a reason these guys are paid to play. If you're going to be in the Overwatch League, you're going to have to hit those shots.
There's a lot of things he could have done from that position. If London would have stayed up on the high ground, maybe he comes out on like a hit scan hero, somebody like a McCree, or even like a Tracer try and flank.
Well, Surefour switches to Brigitte, or he starts on Brigitte, because if the Spitfire see that, they hit tab after 10 to 15 seconds, and they can see all the heroes that the Gladiators have chosen. So if they see Surefour on a Brigitte,
love you, Gladiators. How can you not just love the Gladiators? Not running cookie cutter strats, 900 IQ shit, just... This is great Overwatch. This is great Overwatch.
Gladiators were actually there on the point, even if they didn't see them. They might not have known that Surefour was still waiting in spawn because he was on that Brigitte. So then he switches to Widowmaker and has a perfect flank, a rear flank that was just given to him by the rest of his team. This is 200 IQ stuff. They're playing 10D underwater mahjong out here.
This is a team that looks like they have been practicing for the last few weeks, right? I know.
Oh, that's a huge fire strike.
Nice set strategies here. It'll be profit.
Lol.
Are you kidding me, Remix? Remix trying to go for a shatter there.
Remix is having the time of his fucking life.
I cannot believe my eyes. Birdring, the last man, really standing right now for the Spitfire and Fury. He's in a bad position. If he gets staggered here, that's big trouble for London. He needs to try and die as soon as he can, but it's unlikely the Gladiators are going to give him a merciful and swift death.
And you didn't want to burn his self-destruct there because you need it to just kind of stall out here at the end. It's the Gladiators very close.
You gotta love Overwatch.
Dominant 3-0, Mitch. Really not a good look from London here today.
Oh, I mean, what a statement you're making as well. And vindication, of course, for Remix. Coming into this late point, and Silk Thread with great performances all over. They came out with a plan, they executed on it, and now it's got to be curtains! Soundberry now being used for the Gladiators. They've got good ground being taken here. Profit's missing. Surefour reflected the arrow back at him. Fury's trying to stay alive. He does manage to get back in the mech at least, but a self-destruct is going to take him right back out. Bedosian's desperate now, going for the Transcenders to try and keep his team in it, but it's not going to be enough! The LA Gladiators, against the predictions, against the odds, show us some beautiful, elegant Overwatch, and they will take match one in their quarterfinal against the London Spitfire convincingly.
Still undefeated against London. Hanging over with the 3 wins from the regular season. Now this first win in their quarterfinal matchup. Mitch, it was not that close.
What a great match. What a great series.
Preventing London from completing the map. Then in map number 2, you do have some close points right there. They have come out on top, but Kings Row was dominant there from the Gladiators.
It's nothing better than sort of defeating your doubters and answering with great gameplay, and that's what we saw over the course of the series. We saw Hydration was an incredible performer. We got subbed out after that, and then we saw Void, Silk Thread come in, show that flexibility.
Oh, man. And Dave, I saw it in chat, but you had said that GC Busan tried this against 7, and they got absolutely demolished like 6 hours later. I think that I got to see the footage of that. Do you watch? Where would I find the GC Busan clip? Chat, can you link me? Let's watch GC Busan's attempt at this. It's on Reddit. Okay, I'll check it out. GC Busan attempts the LA Kings row.
He's gonna switch.
Okay. Oh, Edison. I love Edison. I haven't watched much of him, but every single time I've watched him, it's been very impressive.
He's gonna switch to Widow.
Ow, that's very loud. Stop, Twitch. Okay. Here we go. Let's see how they do it.
He's going to switch to Widow, and then while they're out of position trying to tackle the tank composition, he switches and gets the headshots from behind. This is a really complicated strategy that Gladiator's popular today.
Bazzi is so ready for this.
Predicting this, though.
He is ready to go. This could just shut it down. Bazzi spots it. They know exactly what's going on.
They call the bluff easily.
Turns out Seven watched Overwatch League as well, guys.
Yeah, it was a really cool strategy, but, you know, I feel like you can't really just copy it in one day and make it happen.
I mean, it's like, how many people are going to fall for the Trojan horse these days? Everyone knows about it, Wolf.
Yeah, this was not... He's going to switch to Widow.
Well, yeah, they it was literally all over Reddit to actually try and pull off the exact same debate 6 hours later. Takes a set of balls that, yeah, this is strats like that only really work when they're not being expected. But anyway, that's funny. Okay, we're taking a look at the next one, are we? I think that's got to be a speed record for me. Did I just do an Overwatch League analysis in under 4 hours? I guess it was only 3 maps, not 4. So no, we're about on pace. We're about on pace. We are about on pace.